What is up, my friends, and welcome to another edition of the XFL Week In Review, one of the longest-running XFL podcasts out there, episode 208, I believe. This week, we delve into the hot topic, XFL securing the UFL trademark amid its merger talks with the USFL. So stick around because it's going to be an interesting episode. Plus, we have some other things, people getting let go and players signing and so much more. So let's get into it. So some interesting news on a Monday morning. The XFL secures the UFL trademark amid the XFL USFL merger talk. That's right, the United Football League. So the XFL properties trademark this thing. Now, a couple of interesting things to note. The UFL.com actually redirects to the University of Florida, but the UnitedFootballLeague.com is actually taken and not going anywhere. So we'll see how this. Now, of course, this all comes with the whole plan merged of the 2024 season for the XFL and USFL, but there is already a UFL that is planning to play in 2024 with 14 teams or something like that. So an intriguing move. Okay, so this was filed on October 10th. Includes 22 standard language trademarks, which kind of complicates things. We'll talk about that thing in a second, but you can see here the United Football League. It's this kind of standard trademark, but one of the other trademarks is the USFL. Both of these have this trademark. It says association service, namely promoting the interests of professional football clubs, association services, namely promoting the interest of member football clubs, promoting awareness of the benefits of sporting and cultural activities, promoting public interest and awareness of football. So it would be kind of interesting if both of these leagues were to go under the UFL umbrella, but then have the USFL and XFL be under the UFL. But I don't see that as a possibility that they would keep two and do this kind of separate thing. But it's just something to kind of keep in mind. But UFL, because you know, we'll get into that in a second. So the current domain, of course, redirects. We talked about that. So interestingly, there is a United Football League that's in the works, and that's planning to play in 2024, spring season starting February 24th with 14 teams. Their brand of football will, quote, follow a CFL style format and run from February to July. CFL runs to November and doesn't start in February. So are they playing CFL style football? I am around leagues and I hear leagues all the time. This one has kind of been out there on my radar. If you go to their website, I mean, it's all in here. I mean, they have a website. Official football provider is Wilson. All the teams have websites. You got Arkansas Twisters, Charleston Pirates, Kansas City Capitals, Pittsburgh Pioneers, St. Louis Stampede. I mean, there's no DC, the Chicago Blue Bombers. Winnipeg. Watch out. Baton Rouge Red Sticks, Atlanta Wildcats. I can't see that this is actually the league. I mean, they have a lot of stuff. They were going to host scrimmages in 2023. That didn't happen. My take is probably like this league just never got off the ground and they just snatched up the thing. But this United Football League actually has a lot of history. The first iteration of UFL began its operations in 1961 and continued to 64. Four full seasons, 8 teams, primarily in the Midwest. They operated teams in both the United States and Canada when it launched the Quebec Rifles in 64. Cleveland Canton Bulldogs and Akron Pros. That they revived those teams. They would relaunch again in 2009 and play 5 more seasons, with the 2012 season being cut short, October of 2012. Minor league, which more than 5 teams at once, markets in the NFL. They were around for a while. Early news speculated USFL Initials plan would be a competitor. They have champions of all these. Las Vegas won it twice. Virginia Destroyers in 2011. Las Vegas Locomotives. Some notable former UFL players: Dante Culpepper, Simeon Rice, Brian Greasy, Jeff Garcia, Ahmad Green, Maurice Claret. Remember that name? Dominic Rhodes, Bollinger, and Odell Thurman. And they had some coaches: Jay Gruden, Ted Cottrell, Marty Schottenheimer. I would assume that this is kind of a defunct league, and then the XFL, USFL kind of but they were having stuff up until 4 months ago. But there's no league schedule. I mean, can you buy merch? Let's see if we can buy Pittsburgh Pioneers merch. Do you guys want to buy that? Oh, no. So they don't even have that set up. So there you have it. So I would assume that this league is defunct. Maybe UFL football will be part of the XFL's thing. We'll have to kind of find out with that. So additionally, remember the United States Football League, the USFL, still holds the trademark for National Spring Football League. They acquired that on September 22nd. So that adds another level of complexity because are they going NSFL or the UFL? Like why did they both kind of have this kind of competing new name? So we'll have to see how that all plays out. But there you have it. Could the new name be the United Football League, which fans already are saying that they like much better? I like it much better as well. But again, we're not going to really know anything at the latest until before October when the government kind of approves this whole merger acquisition stuff, because you had to wait 30 days to see how this all plays out, the government to kind of approve it. All sides point to the fact that, yes, this will definitely be approved. There's no question about that. There's no competition. Spring football hasn't lasted very long, so there shouldn't be any issues, and we'll just have to find out. Could the new name be the UFL? Let us know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for all the XFL, USFL merger talk, and we'll see you next time. Are you a fan of the XFL, USFL, and CFL football? Get ready to embrace your inner general manager with NewsHubFantasy.com's fantasy football experience. NewsHubFantasy.com offers you an unparalleled fantasy football platform bringing together fans of the XFL, USFL, and CFL football leagues. Compete in season-long fantasy with leagues up to 6 players. You can create your own for friends, or you can join an existing league. Draft your ideal team with our 7 active roster spots, including a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, flex, tight end, kicker, plus 3 bench spots. Show off your football knowledge and strategy and dominate your league. Our user-friendly interface makes it easy to manage with your team and get the latest news in your XFL or USFL or CFL leagues on the go. Plus, News Hub Fantasy offers mock drafts, pick'em games, and so much more all season long. So don't miss out on the action. Sign up now at newshubfantasy.com and become the ultimate football fantasy manager. All right, so Mark Ross parts ways with the XFL. Some different changes going on. Now, Mark Ross was part of the NFL Network. Recently was on talking about with Daniel Whelan of the DC Defenders just a couple of days ago, and Troy Vincent. He is out from the XFL. He was the executive vice president of football operations. The scuttlebutt out there is that it's looking like some people's contracts are not being renewed as this new entity, maybe the UFL, maybe the NSFL or whatever it is starting to try to save money. So we saw it with the coaches, and we've seen that the XFL, I think what they did is they spent too much money and hired a bunch of people that they really didn't need to have on full time. So could Mark Ross return? Possibly in the future, but that's what I've been hearing is that there's been a bunch of people behind the scenes that contracts were not renewed because with the merging of the leagues, they're trying to keep their costs down. I think one of the lessons that the XFL learned this past season in 2023 was that they really just hired way too many people, and that was not necessary. Trying to make this league work. I'm surprised they did that. They should have learned their lessons from 2020 XFL and seeing some of the other leagues. But so Mark Ross's contract was not renewed. There were other guys out there. Matt Millan from the Renegades, Arlington Renegades, he got a new job, as well as Travis Watkins and Ely Party from the Houston Roughnecks. What I've been hearing is that these already were in the works. This isn't like a big mass firing or any of that kind of stuff, that this has all been in the works, that people are basically kind of finding new jobs or contracts aren't being renewed as this new league tries to scale down what they got going on as we wait for this merger, hopefully in the next couple weeks towards the end of the month is kind of what we're thinking. In other news, 22 players signed an letter of intent for the XFL. We have a full breakdown, a exhaustive breakdown of all 22 players. There's a quarterback in there, son of an NFL player. Some of these guys were drafted in that XFL 2023 college draft. So take a look at that. But we have all 22 players sign of intent. Like we've been telling you, business as usual for the XFL until this merger happens and gets approved by the government. Again, we're waiting towards the end of the month. I kind of think that would be happen. Another news from XFL to ELF, which we'll be covering a lot this season. Jim Herman joins the Trio Raiders as head coach. Congratulations to him. He was the San Antonio Brahmas defensive coordinator in 2023, so he is going to take a head coaching gig in the ELF. He has a career. He has won a Super Bowl with the New York Giants, to name some of his other accolades. So Jim Herman moves on to the ELF, something that we will be covering way more in depth this season, along with arena football. So stay tuned for that, because I have a feeling a lot of these things will be interconnected. And finally, Battlehawks defensive lineman LaKale London makes an NFL debut with Atlanta Falcons. We saw what PJ Walker did when they beat the 49ers. We'll see if he starts again this week. It wasn't that he was lights out. Technically, the guy missed the kick at the end. That would have been, but hey, PJ Walker wins games. That's all you need to know. So there are still NFL, XFL guys out there, USFL guys out there in the NFL to keep an eye on as well. Even some CFL guys. We'll see what happens with the BC Lions quarterback, Nathan Rourke, now moved up to the practice squad or onto the main roster for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's something to keep an eye on as well. All right, my friends, that's it for this week's episode. Thanks for checking in. We'll keep you latest and greatest on all the things. Make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get breaking news as it happens, plus on all of our social media stuff as well. And that's it for me, folks. God bless as always, and I will see you all later.